Bam. Y'all already know what it is. Another episode, the Runners Club podcast. We are both at home, relaxing. It's a beautiful morning. Chicago, it's a smooth high of 74 degrees in the middle of fucking November. And today is the day that I chose not to run. How are you, Courtney?
Wow. Yeah. This is your co-host, Courtney Phillips. And
You was gonna say your girl. You was gonna say your girl. This is your girl, Courtney.
I might do that next time. Okay. It is your girl, Courtney Phillips. I'm happy to be here. I'm not even going to get into that yet. This is Runners Club podcast. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, take a moment to show appreciation. If you don't follow us on social media, please do at the Runners Club podcast, and also rate us, and like. I don't know if you can like this specific one, but like it helps us. It helps people find our podcast. And don't you want people to enjoy what we're doing just as much as you are enjoying what we're doing?
Oh, that part.
Share.
Let's go.
Share the love. Okay. So,
Also, like before we got on, we had like a quick business strategy meet. But like, Gloria, the YouTube is there. Okay, yep. Like for everybody else who wants to play us on the TV screens instead of just listening to us on your speakers, the YouTube is there. It's ready. We have it. It's for you. So go there, subscribe, like those, all of that, and just keep rocking with us. I don't know.
Yeah. Also in LA, the high today is 67 degrees. And I just want to say this because I've been saying that it's cold in LA, and I just want to set the record straight because I did a little bit of digging, and I found an interesting fact about how, the Midwest has a lot of humidity, right? The summers are hot, right? It's humid. Did you know that humidity acts as a insulator? So out west, where there's there's barely any humidity, colder weather feels colder here. So it's cold. And so I just want y'all to stop giving me
64 degrees. LA 64 degrees is different from Chicago 64 degrees.
Exactly.
Because humidity is still a thing even in the winter.
Yep.
Okay.
I literally checked when I was reading about this. I was like, okay, the degrees are same here as in Chicago, because right now the seasons are just kind of like lining up a little bit. But then it's like, it's not going to get as cold as it gets in Chicago once we get into the dead of winter. But I was looking, and then like the humidity was like 64% in Chicago, and then it was like 40% in LA. So
I don't know. This sounds like
difference.
Propaganda.
I'm just saying.
Y'all just trying to like make excuses for wearing big ass bubble jackets on the West Coast.
Yeah, that part though, I saw these kids coming out of high school, out of class last night, and they had on puffer jackets, and I was like, it's 60 degrees. It's not that cold, So I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of both, but I'm trying to bust the myth that it doesn't get cold on the West Coast, because in the mornings it's like a good 40 degrees. So, and now I'm done.
True. Okay. Why don't y'all have humidity? Y'all got water.
It's like close to a desert.
Oh, it is.
It's like damn near a desert, drought, all that stuff.
Yeah. But okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because if there was humidity, y'all would have like grass and shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, if humidity in the South, like that's like, Alabama. That's why in Alabama, it's like the weather there is completely different. Over here, like when I take a trip to Chicago and come back to LA, my lips get super chapped immediately because it's dry.
I don't know. How did we get here?
You kept talking. I said I was done. I said done. And you said, and then. Yes, and. That's what you said. You said, yes, and. All right. This is a Runners Club podcast. This is a Runners podcast, and we have a guest. We have guests, plural, this week because the New York Marathon happened, and neither of us were there, but we know people who were there, and
true that
we want to get into the know of the experience.
I'm here for that. I'm here for that because I have so much FOMO. The pics, the
Mm.
videos.
I have FOMO about like being in the pics. I don't have FOMO about being a runner and like having to get up and get on a ferry and get on a
Yeah,
bus
yeah,
and wait. And
yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah,
part, I don't have FOMO about.
yeah. Yeah. No, I know. No, not. Yeah, this is not.
I wish
I
I was
wish
there.
I was there running the race. I wish I
No.
was there doing all of this shit.
Right, exactly.
All of this.
Right. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick break and let in our guests so we can chat about it. All right. We're back.
We got 4 niggas on the screen. Let's go. I mean, that was my bad. That wasn't the proper way to say it. My bad. I meant to say people. I meant to be politically correct.
This is why we have to make the podcast explicit. We have to literally toggle that shit over because of this.
My bad. I didn't mean for that to come out that way, like genuinely. But hello, how are you guys? Hey, Crystal. Hey, Mike.
Yeah. First of all, we have Mike and Crystal on. They are from Chicago. I just want to make sure, because since I'm in LA now and I'm trying to get more people to listen to the podcast that are not from Chicago, I'm trying to pretend like no one knows you, because I know a lot of our listeners do know you, but a lot of them I'm hoping don't. Sure. That's the goal, to get outside of our immediate bubble.
That's smart.
But we've had them both on the podcast before, so you can go find the Crystal Rosales episode. You can go see the Mike Brown episode. Also, Crystal, I can't throw my Latin twang on your name. Like, I say it very white, and every time I say it, there's this guilt that comes over me.
It's okay.
It's like, okay. I can do other names with that little spice, but I cannot do
Rosales.
Rosales.
I don't.
That's what's up.
I don't do the I go and it's just like I fucking hate
it. It's okay. Like you said, you're trying to get real Latin this year, so we're working on it.
We're working on it. Thank you.
How you doing, Mike?
I can't complain. I'm a little tired, but we pushing through. I'm like Crystal. We just rolling with the punches.
Love it. So we asked y'all to come on because we wanted to talk about the New York Marathon. Okay. For our listeners, if you want to get into their backstory, more about them as a runner, go back to those podcasts. Okay. They're great. They're entertaining. But this right here is about the New York Marathon. And I want to know, first off, is this both of your first time running New York? Start with Mike.
Yeah. This was definitely my first time running New York, and it had me questioning a lot of things. Like as far as just like, and I'm sure Crystal was probably going to say the same thing. Comparing it to, the other races that we've done, right? I think we all have done Chicago quite a few times. Logistically, this is a different beast. Just the sheer fact of just trying to get 50,000 people to Staten Island alone, that feels like a marathon in itself. And it's just like, it's one of those things where people try to tell you about it, like, you're going to be on your feet all day. No, you don't really get the sheer impact of it until you're actually in it. So that aspect of it was something definitely different that was introduced to just like even just trying to get to the start line. So for my first one in New York, definitely hit me hard on that aspect.
Crystal, was this your first time?
It was my first New York City Marathon, and will probably be my last. You never know, but like as soon as I crossed that finish line, I was like, never again. But yeah, I agree with Mike. Like the whole logistics and even just getting to the start is a whole different beast. Especially like, you like in the morning, you have like those race jitters, either the night before, like you're just sitting in that energy for like 4 hours and you're just like,
wow,
it's just a lot. It was, a shout out to the New York City Marathon and doing that like Start Village. I was like, oh, this is tight. Like you get free bagels and coffee. Like they tried their best to, make the energy hype so you can kind of like, relax. They even had therapy dogs. Like you could go and pet these little dogs and make yourself, calm yourself down. But being
being in that space for so long just like made me even question like, what am I doing here? Do I really want to do this? Like, I'm all the way in goddamn Staten Island. Like, what am I doing? Like, it just, your mind is just racing. So yeah, so I think that also led to like, just like thinking about. Even at the end, I was like, I don't know if I ever want to do that again. Like waking up that early and having to go all the way over there and do all that. But yeah,
I had to catch a ferry, right?
Well, you can either take a bus or a ferry. I wanted to take the ferry because I was like, oh, cool, we get to see like the Statue of Liberty, all that. And my friend David, he was like the logistics king and was like, no, we are not taking the ferry because if you take the ferry, you got to take a bus. And then I saw YouTube videos of like all these people in the ferry station, and that looked like my worst nightmare. I know you took.
Let me tell you, Crystal, you made the right decision on that. I mean, it's one thing to get on the ferry. That's a cool experience, right? You get to see the Statue of Liberty. You know, if you've never been on a ferry before, because we don't have ferries in Chicago. I mean, we got boats on Lake Michigan, but this is different, right? You know, that's a cool experience, getting to Staten Island. But as soon as you get off into Staten Island, you have to get into line for these buses that pick you up. And then you're on the bus for another 15 to 20 minutes. And, you know, there's people that are getting there late. There's people that's cutting line to get on the bus so they can make their corral. I mean, and then you're literally just standing on your feet for like another, 45 minutes, hour, right? It's just, it's insane. It's just the logistics to it, you know, it's crazy. And you know what? The more and more I think about it, I'm like, this is New York. New York is insane.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, if anything, this is part of the experience.
Yeah.
Y'all wanted to run New York.
Right.
So
here it is.
We're giving you all in New York.
Crazy. The thing is, though, is that you have to run New York if you want to run all of the majors. So you can't, it's one thing if you're like, yeah, I want to run New York and that's fun. But it's like, if you have a goal to run all the majors, you have to do it. And it kind of, in a way, it kind of sucks that has to be the experience, but maybe it's I think a lot of runners that I'm hearing from are like, glad I did it, glad it's a little notch on the belt, but nope, never again.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. And it's like one of those things where it's like, like it's definitely appreciative of the experience, right? And glad that it did it. I think that everybody should do it. It's a great race, right? And I think we'll get a little bit more into details with this, like going down the line. Don't get it wrong. It's a great race. You know, it's a fantastic race. The energy is crazy. But yeah, there's some things that are, you know, if you're not used to it, it'll hit you hard, especially comparing it. All of us ran Chicago, right? You know, Chicago it's just completely different.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So listen, it was like, I was just flabbergasted, first of all, about the time. Like, I don't know if I saw, Crystal, your IG super early in the morning, but I know I saw when Mike did his IG of the Staten Island sign, and the time difference from that post to when the marathon app said Mike has crossed the start line was wild. It was like, I think what you was waiting, y'all, I feel like y'all started around the same time, I think, but like you was probably standing out there just in a corral for like 4 to 6 hours.
We got there, like the bus got there pretty fast because there was no traffic and it felt like you're in a coach bus too. So I was like, oh, at least we're not like a school bus. So it felt pretty cool. But yeah, we got there like 6. I actually ran into Colleen and Greg, so that was really awesome, like seeing them at the start.
And Colleen started later than y'all.
Yeah, and we all had to go at the same time. Like, no matter what time you start, you either had to get on that 5 a.m. bus or that 5:30 bus. So if you started at like 10, you were out there late, like, or even later. Like if you started at 11, you were there at like 6 a.m. So yeah, I didn't cross the start line until 9:45. So I was there just sitting there for like 3 hours.
What do y'all do during that time?
Just lay or sit, just contemplate what you're doing with your life right there. Like, I don't know how many times I went to the bathroom. I will say shout out to the New York City Marathon because they had plenty of porta potties. They even had porta potties in the start corrals. That was key. I was
Yo,
like, Chicago needs this.
Nice.
Chicago needs this.
No, I saw that they
Yo.
had porta parties at the start, but they're in the cut and you don't see them. And it's the ones that the elites use. But I saw some people that were in the front that like could found it and like kind of, and it is right at the front. But yeah, they're not like advertising that there's bathrooms in the beginning. But to your point, I feel like there should be plenty.
Yeah. There was plenty of opportunities to use the bathroom. I will say that kudos to them on that.
Yeah.
And you know, to Ian's point, I mean, like, and what Crystal just said, like, it didn't matter what time you started, right? My original time was 9:45. I dropped back so I could run with another one of our homies, Wardell. He was in a different corral. So, you know, it didn't even matter what time we got there. I had to get up at about 4:30 so I could catch the 5 o'clock train to get to the ferry. And our start time wasn't until 10:20.
Wow.
Right. So, yeah.
And you basically have to take some transportation to like the provided transportation because they close the bridges at 7 a.m. So even if you try to come a little later, like you still like it's a logistical nightmare. So you just have to go early no matter what.
Well,
so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got one more question about the thing. Like, were y'all aware of that prior to? And so, because I mean, the community is so big, we know people who run a marathon. Were you aware of that? And if so, did you make any adjustment to your morning nutrition plan? Or if you didn't, let's say in a different parallel universe, you do New York again, how would you change your morning nutrition plan? Because I mean, I'd be hungry as fuck in like 4 to 5 hours, you know, before my race if I had to wait that long between breakfast and start. So how did that affect your morning nutrition?
Yeah, I definitely think that it was something that I know my friend David, again, he was like the logistics king. And luckily he shared all this information with me. At first I was like, oh, he's over exaggerating, but no, he wasn't. Because even after he was telling me all this, I went on YouTube. It was just like, wait, I really need to prepare myself because we are going to be standing around for a while. So yeah, I did, you know, my drink mix in the morning, but then I had to force myself to eat that bagel they gave us because I needed something in my stomach, especially after sitting there for so long. So that's definitely something I'm not used to doing, even in Chicago or anything like that, because I'm just like, get ready to go. And then also you run the risk of like, maybe that's going to hit you a little differently. And I was really worried about that because I had never done that before, like ate a little bit right before the race like that, like actual food. So yeah, I think that if you're going to run New York, at least my suggestion was just keep that in mind. Like bring an extra drink mix or something that you know is going to work for you, but just know that you're going to have that time and you have to like even practice that on your long run. Maybe even do a long run that you're waking up extra early, do your first round and then do another round of nutrition. But I would definitely practice that because I didn't do that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it is very key to talk to any of your homies that may have ran New York before. I think that we all kind of, you know, benefit from that, from knowing people that had ran it before, multiple people. Another thing that was in my favor is my coach, shout out to Coach Matt, has ran it before as well. So he was able to kind of, you know, give me a heads up of what to expect because he, you know, he knows, you know, kind of what my routine is and stuff is. So we were able to kind of talk about that and tailor it as such. And definitely, you know, it definitely changed my routine. I definitely usually drink coffee like soon as I wake up. But you know, again, so like kind of what Crystal said, you don't want certain things to kind of hit you, you know, before certain times. And I knew that it was just going to be this long period before I actually was in the starting line. So I actually had to cut the coffee out because I just didn't want to, you know, risk that. Right. And then it was also another situation where it was, drink mix. I had to make sure that I kind of waited to take my drink mix like closer to start time. But in between that, you know, it was more of, okay, let me hydrate, but not hydrate too much where, you know, I have to use the bathroom too many times. And then I had to stagger my snacks, right? So it was like I may have woke up and ate a banana immediately, but then I may have, something else, like maybe like an hour after that. So I just made sure I just kind of stretch things out instead of kind of, for Chicago, we can just kind of just be like, boom, wake up, get everything, get to the starting line, do our business, and we good. So yeah, you definitely have to be a little strategic about it. And I completely agree with Crystal. You probably should practice this on some of your long runs before you actually do New York.
I actually took even extra gels. I took extra gels with me. At first I was like, why am I taking so many gels? But like I had one, and then I felt so bad. This one woman, hers felt like she took it out of her bag right before we walked in the start, and it fell in the drain. And she was like, oh no. And I'm like, here. I felt so bad. And I was like, here's a morning. And she was like, thank you. Are you sure? And I was like, just take it. Like, I feel horrible. It like fell in the drain. And I saw her heart just like sink. And I was like, here, just take this one. So I gave her one of my gels just in case.
God.
Yeah, like her heart broke. And I was
horrible.
like, yeah.
That's crazy. Worst nightmare.
Yep.
Yeah, how did your whole new chest just fall into a random?
I know.
That's wild.
Yeah. So yeah, just take extra.
I love it.
Did you feel like, okay, so you're at your corral and you've waited, you're about to start. Can you guys just expand on that experience of actually starting the marathon and like finally getting through that start line and like being like, all right, I'm running this thing? Cause I mean, it sounds like the course itself was really beautiful.
Yeah. Depending on your color or wave, I should know that better, but like different colors were on top and on the bottom of the Verrazano Bridge. So if you were in the orange one, you got lucky because you were on the top. And I was in the green, so I was on the bottom.
So you had to run up the hill, the bridge more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. And that bridge, that first bridge was ridiculous. We'll get into that a little bit more.
Bridge is crazy.
But yeah, like you don't know which way you're going to get spit out until they kind of hoard you. I feel like we were like getting hoarded into
like cattle.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's a beautiful start. Like you can see the bridge. It's like, you're like, wow, we are really about to run across this thing.
I love it.
Yeah. I saw people try to pretend that they were stretching, and then they hopped on the top because they wanted to go to like be on the top, because the top is a way cooler experience. So
like the top section of the bridge.
Yeah.
Mike, what about you? Were you on the top or bottom?
I was on the bottom just as well. So that was kind of an interesting experience in itself. Just kind of starting off the race on a bridge underneath it, with no people under there to kind of like celebrate, right? Or like to cheer you on, like right.
Because only runners.
It's only runners.
Can you hear what's going on above you?
You can hear what's above you. You can hear what's going on in front of you, and all you hear is feet. You just hear the. It's just, and then you're just, and which is cool, which is fine, because it's like, at the beginning of the races, you typically have all that picked up energy, especially after waiting this long to get to the finish line. One thing that I will say was kind of cool too is that at the start, instead of a starting gun, there was like a cannon. And if you're not paying attention, it kind of catch you off guard. It's like, damn, what's going on? Like somebody just got blew down. Like, it's loud.
I was like, you can't be out here shooting a cannon after each start corral. I was like, whoa.
After each start corral?
Yeah.
After each start corral, it was boom.
That's crazy. Wild.
Yeah.
Like I thought they only did it for like the elites. I thought they did it for the elites or like whatever. No, it was after each like wave. It was just like boom, boom.
That's crazy. Wild.
Yeah. So yeah, that first bridge. I think that one, and I think the Queensboro Bridge. Those two, there's no support on the course. The other ones, people can kind of like sneak on or just be on. But those two are the mentally, I feel like the hardest, because you're just like, all you hear is just, it's either like something that you can get in like a meditative space, or just like, okay, I'm getting this done. But yeah, there's no crowd support on that first bridge at all. And then also my watch stopped working, or like it was funky under there. So I didn't know like what pace I was going. And I started with of the 3 Run 2 crew, and they were spicy. They were going spicy. And I'm like,
Yeah, I
I was
followed.
like,
I followed you. I was like, oh, Crystal
no,
moving that
no,
first
no,
5K.
no. And the first 5K, I was doing like 8:15 pace, which was not the plan. And so then I saw them and I was like, I just hit a peace sign. I was like, I'm good. I'll see y'all later, because my watch, like, I was like, I don't even know how fast I'm going right now.
Yeah,
But I know I need to slow down.
Yeah.
I saw your first 5K. I was like, oh, Crystal been training. She going at it.
And then it was just positive splits all the way down.
Crazy.
But yeah.
I love it. So where are we as far as like the experience of actually running through the city? Because I know you guys hit every bridge.
For
You
sure.
hit every borough, right?
Every borough.
You hit every borough and stuff like that. Like, what was the terrain like? You know, was it super flat? I mean, I know the bridges you running up and down, but outside of bridges, was it flat? Was the roads like crazy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Crystal, I don't know if you experienced this, but I felt like the entire time it was uphill. That's what I felt. I felt like it was uphill the whole time. I thought we were like running up a mountain. The terrain, the whole time, the terrain is crazy. It's one of those things where like people can tell you, oh yeah, New York has rolling hills, be careful. I'm like, all right, cool. Mind you, disclaimer, I did not really train for this race, all right? This was definitely a fun run. I put that in quotations, all right? I had a lot of fun. People told me to enjoy it. Oh, I enjoyed it. I took shots. You know, I stopped at cheer stations and stuff like that for multiple reasons. Just because, you know, I didn't really, really train for this type of course. I really didn't train that much. And, you know, I'm thinking I'm the superhero. I've done it before. You know, I've done it for Chicago, didn't train too much, went out there, did okay. You can't do that for New York, okay? This is a completely different, beast. Like, I mean, even comparing this to LA, people think that LA has like these crazy hills and stuff like that. It has hills. Keep in mind, the LA Marathon is net downhill, okay? Just completely different. It's a completely different method. New York, I feel like it's a mountain. You know,
there was a random.
Did you ever hit the peak though and feel like you're going down?
Yeah, I kept on telling myself, like, you're going up a mountain, it is going to have to be a way down. But like, there was a hill in the middle of fucking Brooklyn. Like, it felt like it was like mile 8, and it felt like it was like a mile long. I'm like, what is this? Like, where am I right now?
For real. Shout out to the Goldfinger track club, the boys out there, Jerry and all them. As soon as we pulled up to them, the first thing I asked, I said, bro, where y'all get these heels from? We don't have heels in Chicago. What's this? This is crazy. I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, immediately on that, like afterwards, I looked up hill in Brooklyn because I was like, what was that? Like, I don't understand. It was on Lafayette Avenue, FYI.
Wow.
Lafayette Avenue. That's crazy.
I will say though, when the one time I was in New York and I went running with We Run Uptown.
Yeah.
That was the first time I was like, okay, I've never ran in New York before, and it was consistently hilly as well, like all throughout Manhattan. So like, did you hit the hills in every borough, or was it just primarily in one or two?
I feel like all of them had hills.
I feel like I feel the same way.
Even the bridges were the hardest. Like, that's when I saw everybody like, oh, I'm just gonna walk this, or I just can't do this right now. Yeah, it was consistently hilly.
Not that I can't do this right now.
No,
this man was on a phone. This man was on a phone call, like this other he's just like talking. He's like, yeah, it should be done. I'm like, sure, like let's go.
Yeah.
This makes me honestly want to do it.
You should do it. We encourage everybody to do it. It's like Manhattan is kind of crazy though too, because you can kind of see the incline, like, and it's like it seems like it goes forever. That incline looks like it's about like 2 or 3 miles. You just can't. It's just endless. I don't know. It's insane. It's definitely. I mean, I haven't done all the courses in the world. We haven't done all of those, but I feel like this is one of the hardest courses that you can do.
I feel like if you are going to run a New York City Marathon, you have to be hitting like Waterfall Glen,
Yes.
Morton Arboretum, like every long run has to be that. Because I was just the whole time too when I was running, I was thinking about what last time I was on the podcast. I was like, oh, I got this goal. I'm gonna do this, and like the whole time I was like, I need to train correctly for this. Just
train. Y'all better hit some parking lot.
Yeah, parking garages. If you can't make it over there, but like every long run has to have hella hill repeats, or like you have to.
That's a fact.
That is wow. I never thought about New York being like that. Like I didn't know it wasn't flat, but just that level. I thought it was something mostly like just on the bridges. Not actually on the court.
No. Yeah. It's like even when you get to the park.
Yeah, I literally was just about to say, do you go through any parks? Do you go through like what was the nature vibe? Was it all city? Like
most of it was city.
Yeah, most of it was city. The portion that you do get like some greenery is definitely at the end in Central Park, but Central Park is rolling hills.
Yeah.
Here's some more hills for you.
Okay. This is something that I want to know, and Ian will be right back. But when you hit Central Park, are you at the top and come down? Like, what boroughs are you going through first? And are you aware of the boroughs? Did you study the course and be like, okay, I'm starting in Staten Island, and then I'm going to go here and there?
Yeah,
I should have done that. Like, you see that little, like, they have like a cool diagram that they go through the city and they show you all that. I should have studied that a little bit more because you start at Staten Island, then you're in Brooklyn for like, I don't know, like 13 miles, 12 miles. Wow. I was like, how are we in Brooklyn for this long? And then I remember this woman saying 1 more mile till you get to Queens. Then you get to Queens, and then you get to, I don't know, I think you're through Queens.
And then you get to
go Queens, Harlem, and then Manhattan. Or maybe Bronx. It's like Queens, Bronx, and then Harlem. Oh, Bronx, there you go.
Yeah, because I'm like, is it Harlem in Manhattan?
Yeah. Because it's the Upper East Side, right?
Yeah.
I'd be trying to know, but I don't.
Sorry, New Yorkers.
They're like, y'all are terrible.
Sorry. I just remember the woman saying, you're 1 more mile away from Queens. I was like, I don't even know where I'm at right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So were there any favorite boroughs? Like, and I want to get to, Central Park, but just like before you get to Central Park, what was the highlight?
The highlight for me definitely was Brooklyn. Definitely. Well, actually, I'm going to say two. It's between Brooklyn and Harlem.
Word.
For sure. Harlem was really, really dope. I feel like Harlem had Bronzeville kind of vibes.
Yes.
So that kind of reminded me of Mile 23 for us for Chicago. So that was really super dope to have that boost coming through. And a lot of the crews were there too, around like Mile 21, 22.
That was more like the Bronx.
Marathon.
The Bronx?
I feel like
was that the Bronx?
It was Bronx and Harlem. They kind of intersected, and that was like the best part for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So those portions, but Brooklyn, it's just like, it was just nonstop support. I mean, the whole entire race had no dead spots except for the bridges, like we said.
Yeah.
What spot did you have a dead spot?
The Hasidic Jewish neighborhood.
Nah, bruh. Okay, I literally no. I'm glad that you brought this up before I did, because I was like, this is hilarious.
Be careful. Don't make me have to call Kanye disclaimer.
No. Can I just say what I have to say real quick?
It's known.
Go.
I saw, and I posted this on my close friends because I also am just like, I don't, but I just thought it was hilarious because like there was a video that I saw of the New York Marathon running through the Yiddish community, and they were like dodging in between the runners trying to cross the street.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I bet they want nothing to do with the marathon.
Yeah. And they were just like, it was like living life.
They're living their life.
Whatever.
And they're literally like trying to get like they're just like, okay, it's going to be over soon, but I'm just going to just try to cross the street. And it's like, my G, there's a whole marathon. And I bet they would probably prefer it if the marathon went around their neighborhood.
Yeah, for sure.
Marathon, as like the marathon's kind of wild for that, because it's like, especially when like a community doesn't give a fuck, and it's like they just have to deal with this thing every year of 50,000 plus runners. It just it makes me laugh.
Because it was funny because that's where Goldfinger was like a little bit before, and then it's like literally like you just get quiet, and then you get hype again.
You're right. I completely forgot about that part. I think at that point we were just blowing through it. But that definitely was kind of a change of energy for a moment.
Yeah, like, the Bronx was popping. Like the whole time I kept on saying, like, just make it to the Bronx. Because I knew, because it's different from Chicago, because at least you know, like, oh, I'm in this neighborhood and I know I'm going to see these friends and all that. And like, I just knew that all of my friends were going to be at mile 21 and a half or around that area, or I was going to see Break Down Bronx runners and that. And I remember when we got to that bridge and the cop was like, welcome to the Bronx, I was so happy.
Relieved.
So happy. But yeah, the energy was like, you could just hear it. You could just hear the roar and the music and all that.
Was that where was 3 Run 2 there? Was that GRC Run Club? Like where were they?
Yeah, okay. They were with Rerun Uptown in 21.5. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Those that definitely shout out to everybody that was out there that we knew, that we didn't know, the Chicago crews, the New York crews. That definitely was a big help because, to Chris's point, that's all I kept saying. Okay, all right, boom. I kept telling Wardell, we were running together. I was like, all right, we getting to Brooklyn. We just got to get to Jerry and them. We got to get to Goldfinger. All right, cool. Boom. All right, we need to start looking for, Jorge and Aaron, and we got to look for the boys. We got to look for GRC Run Club. We got to look for, Boogie Down Bronx, all of these connections and the family that we had out there. So that was a big push, especially for a terrain and course that we weren't familiar with. You lend on that energy from the people to kind of pull you through. So big shout out to all of our folks there.
And it was also fun when you would see like random, I guess, people that were runners, they were cheering and they'd be like, yeah, 3 Run 2, or like they would shout you out. So I was like, oh my God, thank you. I'm dying.
Yeah. I got a lot of, let's go Chicago. I'm like, what's up? Like, okay, all right. I could have sworn people
was calling my name. Are you the type to put your name on your chest?
I didn't. I just had the GumboFit Chicago singlet. But I kept telling Wardell, I was like, bro, I feel like people are saying my name, but I'm like, okay, but you're like, shut up. Your name is Mike. Like, of course they're saying they're not talking about you. Like, the 5 million other Mikes or whatever. Right, exactly.
No,
Mike right here. The Mike
whenever
right
I hear Ian on the course, they talking to me.
Thanks,
I just take all of that.
That's a fact.
I take all of that. So, okay, so we get down, we going through it, we seeing everybody, we getting all of the love. How was the finish line? What was the finish line like? Like, what was that experience? Did you feel like it was a little bit
Wait. Hold on. They haven't talked about the park yet. They're taking us through the boroughs. And now we're into Manhattan. You've gone through the Bronx, you're hitting Manhattan, you're going through Harlem, and then you hit Central Park. And
shout out to the Bronx and Harlem, because one of the things that saves me during long runs is drinking a Coke. And the whole time I was like, I just need a Coke. I'm dying. I was about to even text Jorge and them, I need something at mile 21. Then these little angels came out, were just pouring little cups of Coke. And I was like, you don't understand how long I've been waiting for this. And I don't know, it just felt so good to understand that these people in the Bronx knew what we needed when I needed it.
I love that.
But anyway, then you go back into Manhattan. That park that seems like it lasts forever.
It's the longest 2 miles or whatever it is.
I think it's 3. I think it's a 5K. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense. It felt like a 10K.
Mm-hmm. Are you weaving within it, or are you just kind of going around the perimeter?
First, you start on the side on 5th Avenue, and that is a hill in itself, outside the park. Everybody talks about the other one, but that it's an incline all the way. You get to the park.
Damn.
And then you get in the park, and it's another basically rolling hills all the way.
Rolling hills. You go through everything. Just to go through Central Park. And I mean, in your mind, you're like, I just got to get through this, right? But they make it so hard for you to get through it. It's insane. A lot of people, a lot of energy. So that could, that gets you through it. You can see a lot of your family and stuff like that throughout, everything. But it's just, it's painful. It's painful. Those hills in Central Park are crazy.
I will say that Central Park, and there was a section in Brooklyn too, where it got like a little congested because there's so many people trying to like cheer and all that. And I mean, they have course marshals, but there's just so many people. So there was parts in Central Park where it got really congested. So you're kind of just like trying to weave in and out around people. And that was like just energy draining. I feel like I found myself doing that a lot in this race compared to other races. Yeah, there was a lot of, maybe it was the day, because it was a very hot, brutal day, and people were probably walking a little bit more than usual. But it was just having to weave around people because the streets were just too narrow. Because it was just congested. My bad. It was just congested.
And it was hot. So I know, because Mike, I don't know if you text me while you were running or after.
I think I did.
But you were literally like in our little group chat talking about these motherfuckers are just dropping on the either side of me, just like left and right.
Left passing out. God bless them. I'm hoping they're okay. They had the little oxygen mask on. I saw a guy. He was on the side. He was leaking his elbow. I'm like, bruh, like
leaking out of his elbow.
Blood. Like
I was like, if I stop, I'm gonna be like one of those people that's it was brutal.
What was the temperature?
It was hot as fuck, right?
Yeah. It was like in the 70s, wasn't it, Crystal?
Yep, it was in the 70s. And at first it was like sunny when I started, and I was like, oh God. And then it got overcast and it was raining for a bit.
It rained a little bit. Yep. Yeah. What? We went through everything. Yeah, we went through everything.
I heard the course ran out of water at one point.
Wait, what?
I heard the course ran out of water. I was hoping to fact check that with y'all.
It seemed fine.
I didn't experience that. I stopped at every water station.
You was drinking. You was taking shots, Mike. You wasn't thinking about no water.
I wasn't. We're trying to get to the next shot.
You were on the shot.
What was your drink, Mike? What was you taking shots of?
I think we had tequila. We had tequila and beer. And we just kind of, shout out to Wardell, because he got me to do that. Because typically I stay away from it. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to elevate my heart rate. You know what? He said, no, you taking it. I said, okay, I got you, bro. So
did y'all run the entire race together?
Give me a boost. Yeah, we did. Yeah. It was definitely a run-walk situation. It was a run-walk situation, and I'm glad that I did it, because I just didn't want to hurt myself because, I'm taking 2 weeks off, and I'm going right back into training for LA. So, I just wanted to enjoy this. You hear me? If anybody knows me, they know I love the LA Marathon. I don't know why. I just love that course. But yeah, like I just didn't want to hurt myself. I just wanted to experience this, get the medal,
Ian thought you was hurt. I was talking to Ian. He was like, I was following Mike, and he just started slowing down. And I was like,
I was scared, bro, because I didn't know that this was like a chill thing. I didn't know you was running with Wardell. And I was just like, I was watching your times, and I was like, oh, I think Mike died. Like, I think there's something wrong. And then when your final finish time came through, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. You ain't the only one.
Something went wrong.
Like, you're good. You ain't the only one, dog. People was like, are you okay? Like, this isn't like your normal time and stuff like that. Like, did you finish? I'm like, bro, like, it's okay. Like, yes, it was all good. We got it done. And again, shout out to Wardell for sticking with me, because he could, honestly, I feel like he could have kept going. But I told him, I said, look, bro, I am being very, very careful. I do not want to hurt myself, because I have to roll back into training in 2 weeks. I'm taking this real chill. He is elected to never run New York again. And I told him that I will, because I feel like I got some work to do on that course.
Yep. Unfinished business. Basically.
We got unfinished business. Crystal, you feel the same way? Oh, no, you said you
well, I say that, but I know very well, because that was my worst marathon time. And at the end, it was just like, I just need to finish this. I don't care how long it's going to take me. All that ego about my time went out the window. It was just like, this is just, we are making it happen. Exactly. I think, I talked through so many moments about That's the most I've ever talked to myself in the marathon. I was even talking to myself out loud. I was like, "You fucking done this before," just like yelling at myself, angry. But yeah, I was like, "We're just finishing this, so definitely I want to do it again, like the proper way of actually properly training.
Exactly.
And give it a go."
Exactly. Now, when y'all see it on Strava, because I don't think I uploaded it on Strava yet, y'all not gonna see the time.
Would you share your times here for our listeners? Exclusive intel.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I just said that my time for this one was 5:50, and that's definitely the slowest I've done a marathon. I'm still trying to chase I was chilling. But just to put it in perspective, my PR is a 3:32. I'm still trying to chase to break that. But yeah, this was a fun run.
Wild.
Yeah, mine was 4:13:29, and my PR marathon is a 3:40, which is so funny that I told you I came in hot this year. I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get a 3:30." Nope.
Sure.
Nope.
That's still a good time, though, Chris.
That's a good time.
Great.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
that was clean.
Yeah.
I was
I'm not mad at it.
I was a little jealous. I was like, "Ooh, that's like 2 minutes off of my Toronto time." I was like, I need a full 20-week training period. I gotta go hard. Chris has been killing it. He's going hard, but also like Mike is also one of my ghost races and stuff like that. Like Mike is one of the people I'm trying to chase down and one day just get a better marathon than him.
You low-key competing with him? You low-key competing with him?
We all got him. We all got him. Yeah. We all got him and stuff like that. Yeah. And I mean, Ian, we've talked about this before, like in recent, like weeks or months or whatever. It's go time now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's time for us to get at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you said the same thing about like Toronto. Like, that put a spark on you. This one put a spark underneath that where it's like, okay, all right. First of all, you're getting too old. You can't just be going out there running marathons without training. All right. We're not doing that no more. Okay. All right. And then 2, let's get back to our regular routine and let's get at some stuff. Yeah. So I think all of us, are ready to kind of take on that next challenge and stuff like that. But yeah, bro, it's time to go. Yeah. Let's get it.
I mean, shit. Week two, I've been in the gym. 5 or 6 days a week. I've been in there. You know what I'm saying? Doing my weightlifting, breaking it down and stuff. I just recently had a consultation with Kayla about how to put my weight training more in a functional way, because all my information, like I was telling Karen, all my information is just like based on my dad being a bodybuilder, doing traditional weightlifting, like Kayla called it, like doing bro movements, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Curls and all of that stuff.
Bro movements.
But, trying to do it in a functional way, because also like I'm helping Karen with her strength training and stuff like that. But like I am dialed the fuck in. I'm waiting on my legs to catch up with running so I can jump back up to these 60-minute easy runs and these harder speed workouts. But like I'm with you, bro. Like going all the way, because Speed Project is coming up. I want to do LA with you before Speed Project, but I think I'm too scared right now to do that a week before the Speed Project. But I'm coming out there. I'm coming out there to chill.
Me and Court talk about this all the time. Like LA always gonna be there, right? So if Speed Project is your A, stick with that or whatever. LA gonna be there.
Yeah.
Me and Karen's gonna be laying right where that Glade plug-in is behind Courtney. Like that's what we're saying. We're gonna be there for a week.
Not the Glade plug-in. First of all, that's my internet. Internet. Okay.
One thing I'll say about the finish is that
again, please, let's talk about the finish.
You were on your feet for even longer.
What? Yeah. Wait, but where do you finish? You're not. I feel like you can't be back in Staten Island. You probably are. You're in Manhattan.
Point to point. It's point to point. Yes, so you're back in. You're in Manhattan. You finish in Central Park. They have like a grandstand where people can buy tickets and see you at the end. All that, but then you walk like 2 more miles after that.
They're crazy.
Yeah, and they're just like again herding you through because people are trying to go on the side. They're like, no, get up, get moving. People are like basically again dying on the side. They got wheelchairs, all that. But you have that really cool poncho though. That's really cool. I love that poncho.
I did like the poncho. I saw the poncho.
It's like
not you still got yours.
Not
them. They literally pulled the ponchos from their side. They have it right there.
It's like a blanket. It's like a blanket. It's really nice. So, and then they have like a recovery bag. You know how like when usually you go through a marathon, you have to like carry everything. You're just walking around. They have a bag already ready for you.
Smart.
But then they make you walk like 2 miles after that to get to an area.
That was another wow notifications. Like Crystal has finished the marathon. And then like it felt like an hour later be like, Crystal has exited the park.
Yeah, because then I ran into Simeon and I was talking to Simeon and then I didn't realize I had to exit. I was like, well, people probably thought I died. I'm like,
right. Yeah. The logistics of this race is insane. And I kind of get why. I was telling somebody too, like, I kind of get why it's like that, because there's just so many people finishing and they kind of got to like filter it out and stuff like that. And if they ended it and everybody just kind of spread it out, like from that point, it would just literally be sheer madness. But it's painful. They literally make us walk like 2 miles before we even exit. It's like crazy.
Yeah, I did ultra.
That's what exactly. I literally was like, so the New York Marathon is an ultra marathon. Let's just I feel like people should plan to run closer to 30 miles. Like just plan for that because it's basically a 50K.
Yeah, you're walking, you're on your feet for so damn long.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing too is that I forgot to notice is note that if you want to do a bag check, like let's say you want to change afterwards, you have to do it the day before. Like you have to drop off your bags the day before. So you have to already have that together. Like, you know how you walk up and you're like, oh, I'm going to bag check. No, like you have to go drop that off in Central Park. Again, make your way in Central Park to drop it off and then have it ready for you the next day.
Wow. So
it is a lot of logistics. It's just like a lot of logistics to figure out.
Would you suggest staying in Manhattan then if you're going to run the marathon? Like where did y'all stay?
I stayed, I know it's kind of wild, but I stayed in like Times Square just because we were like maybe 2 miles, not even like a mile or so away. And I booked hella early. As soon as I found out I was getting in there, I went like hotels.com and like got like a really cheap rate compared to other people that were staying like in Brooklyn and all that. It was very convenient. I would say stay in Manhattan, stay as close as you can to the finish.
And would you suggest hotel or Airbnb so you can cook your food?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like going to be like a preference on, if somebody, I think you can make both of them work. I agree with Crystal, definitely trying to stay closer to the finish line because I did the same thing. I stayed in Midtown, so it was a little bit further from the end, but it was kind of nice to kind of be able to kind of like get there and be out of the mess and stuff like that, but still be close. So definitely if you're staying like Times Square or Midtown or just in those types of areas, I think that is best for the finish. But if you choose to do an Airbnb, there's definitely a plus on that because like you said, Courtney, you can go ahead and cook your own food and things of that nature. But if you do a hotel, I mean, there's plenty of places for you to kind of, get right and get situated as far as like nutrition.
Yeah, like I checked my bag just in case. Like, even though I was close, I was like, you never know what's going to happen. So I checked my bag just in case. But it was nice to know that I could easily just like walk to my hotel after I was done.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn, G, you had the 4-5 miles after the race.
That's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely got. We hopped on one of those. One of the homies that's on the bike.
You got at a pedicab?
Is that what it's called?
Those things are expensive.
Yeah, no. I found it out the wrong way, Crystal, for sure.
Mike got it. Mike got it.
No, I don't got it. Like they was tripping.
They were charging like $100 to go up the street.
That's exactly what it was. It was $100. And I thought it was because it was 1, 2, 3, 4. It was 4 of us.
Scamming.
We didn't even go that far, Ian. I see you shaking. We didn't even go that far, bro. And then he did something in his phone. He showed me the price, and I was just like, "Here, just take it, bro. I'm out." Because I'm not about to play with you. I'm not about to play with you.
So
I'm done.
Don't get on a pedicab. Like just walk your ass to your place wherever you need to go. Do not get on that scam pedicab. Do not do
exactly. I said I saved some money for New York. This is fine. I'm just gonna tap into that New York resource. Here, take it. Leave me before I change.
Walk around and find out.
Exactly.
We get people every year.
Every year. Wild. $100.
So yeah, prepare to be on your
bike.
Yep, prepare to be on your feet before and after.
Yeah.
That's great.
If anybody plans on doing New York, tap in with us. We'll give you all the insights and stuff like that. What you saying?
Where's y'all gonna eat the night before the race?
Lately, I've had a superstition that if I eat a burger the day before, I will have a decent race because it hasn't steered me wrong yet. So I just went to a Shake Shack because I knew it was convenient and it was not going to like mess up my stomach. I've had it before. And it was literally up the street. But again, that works for me. That does not work for anyone else that I know. But yeah, whatever works for you, I would say make that work. But that works.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
I did my carb loading meal the Friday night before, and I went to a place called Union Square Cafe, which was in Union Square, which was pretty good. It was pretty nice. It's like on the edge of being like an upscale Italian place, but they don't take themselves like too serious.
It's cute.
You know what I mean? Well, I had my lovely girlfriend with me, so I had to kind of treat her, to certain things. Shout out to Ashley. I had to, make sure she was okay in the same sense, or whatever. So I'm sure she enjoyed those dishes. I did too. So it was cool. The night before, I don't even remember what I ate the night before. To be honest with you, I don't remember. It was something light. I usually the night before I usually keep it light. I keep it carb based, but nothing like too crazy where the next morning my stomach is going to be kind of
smashing.
Exactly.
Well, also watch out for those carts because if you're trying to get a cart like a hot dog or they're taxing, they're scamming too. I paid $12 for a hot dog and like a drink.
Oh, that's insane. That's crazy.
And it was like a simple hot dog, but I was so hungry and I was trying to drop this bag off and I was like, whatever.
That's crazy.
Them niggas is wilding out there, G.
But the one thing that I will also say, they are hustling. The one thing that I forgot that we didn't mention too, Crystal, is just the fact that you're in New York, right? So you're going to be walking a lot beforehand anyway.
Yep. Like everywhere you need to go is going to be walking on the train, like everywhere. So you have to also keep that in mind.
I think the Friday before, I looked at it, we did like 10 miles of walking.
No, you didn't.
No,
you did not.
Riding the train?
That's my question is that like, okay, I saw you, I was following you, Crystal, on your journey to New York and how that was like hilarious. Not what you planned. And then Mike, I don't know when you got there, but I just want to know more about like even just getting there and experiencing marathon weekend,
That's a great question.
It's wild. I feel like there was also like, every major marathon, I feel like there's always parties and everything going on. Or people just wanting you to come to this and that. You have to make choices because you have to think about also like you are going to be on your feet and that is going to be exhausting. And it takes a really long time to get to places. Like even in an Uber, like all that, like you can't just be like, all right, I'll meet you there. Like it's going to take you more than half an hour. That's the least. And that's so like,
sounds
honestly,
like LA.
I was just not in the space to go to many like meet up. And I feel really bad that I don't know. I feel like my experience could have used that a little bit more than I should have made time for that. But like, I just couldn't mentally and physically. I just needed to focus.
Yeah. You got it right.
On that. Yeah. And even afterwards, I was like tired. I was like, I can't go all the way over there like mentally. I just am not there to go.
I saw people waiting in a line outside Nike to see Kipchoge for his birthday. And then they were like all up in this space. But then the line was crazy. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I saw that. I heard that was a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, I was there. They told us to be there at 10. Got there
so you
like
went. Okay.
50 and stuff like that. Was in line at 10. We didn't get into the doors until probably, let's just say 10:15, 10:20 or something like that. And then we didn't actually see Kipchoge until probably noon. And we didn't actually start running until like 12:30. So we
and that was a shakeout?
That was a shakeout.
And you didn't start running till 2?
We didn't start running until like 12:30. It was hours.
12:30.
I don't know how long it was, but it was hours before we actually started.
Wild.
It wasn't at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
I'm also super grateful that I went to the League of Their Own event with Paige because that was a super cool experience. But I was also like, everybody was like, why are you here? I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm having having a good time. Like it was good for the mental to kind of like get out of this like race anxiety mode for a little bit. But I don't recommend going and doing an event on the day before the marathon. I will say that.
Because they were playing like dodgeball or some shit, right?
We were doing like tug of war, little relay race, like whatever. But yeah, I would say just do shakeout, keep it chill. Don't try to do the most. You can maybe do the most afterwards, but yeah.
Yeah.
And you got there on Friday?
Very late. I got there at I was supposed to get there at 2. I didn't get there till maybe 8 with like delays. So if you can maybe get in a little, I was kind of regretting not getting in on Thursday. Like I know it's expensive, like another day, but it would have been nice to just have that moment to just like, I don't know, just get my bearings as soon as I got in, and then have Friday and Saturday to just, I don't know, just get everything together.
Yeah, I agree. I got in on Thursday, and I think that helped out a lot. As far as like getting things situated, and then kind of going back on like where to stay when you're there. One thing to consider, when we're talking about all of these events, a lot of the events I noticed were taking place in Brooklyn. So if you were staying in Brooklyn, cool. You can just go hit up all the pop. You can go hit up, go see Sid for the pop-up shop for Pioneers. You can, go to all these other events. You can go and see the Bandit pop-up shop because all this stuff was in Brooklyn, right? So if you're staying in a different location, like Crystal said, like getting to those other locations, it takes you about 30, 40 minutes. Yeah. I would suggest taking the subways everywhere. You're just going to save a lot of money. And it's really not as bad as people think it is. I mean, we've taken the red. Yeah, we've taken the red line and the blue line. I feel like that's worse than the subways.
At least it's underground. Like you're not standing outside in the cold.
Yeah,
look at that.
Gee, they was hot boxing the blue line the other day, bro. And I promise you,
the whole train.
They was hot boxing, bro. And
how can you hot box a train?
Gee, it was like 4 people in the back. With like the little back part is.
Yeah.
It was not just weed in it. Like I was like, nah, this feels weird. I am getting off and I'm going to a different car. Those people just sitting there like this is what we deal with. This is what we got to go through. But them niggas was hotboxing crack.
No,
we didn't see that in New York. So yeah, if you ride the CTA, you'll be good on the New York subway.
Yeah,
it was wild. I was like, I'm like Cameron's like, you don't like riding public transportation because you just too bougie boy. Like you got an Uber, and I was like, you know what? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm at this place in my life right now.
This. Yeah, at 33, like I don't need this. I don't need this experience. But I'm happy to hear that New York is comfortable. You can do your thing. Yeah. You can move around. It sounds like it's also like the time with Uber versus public transportation doesn't vary that much. Did you find New York hard to navigate on the train?
I think it's pretty simple. Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. It's the way they have their system like set up. I feel like it's really just based off of numbers, and it's just as long as you knew the streets that you were going on and stuff like that. And like Crystal said, as long as you had your phone, I mean, it pretty much like I feel like the iPhone was made for New York. Like
I don't know where I'm going when I'm in New York. When I'm in New York, I don't know where I'm going. I don't understand trains. I don't get any of it, but it's not the worst.
Yeah, it's one of those things too. You also kind of got to change if you're from Chicago, you got to change your frame of reference too. Because when somebody says downtown, they're literally talking about downtown. And if they're talking about, if we say downtown, we're thinking about going into
about the center of the city. Yeah,
the city of the city. No, they're talking about like downtown Soho,
down Manhattan.
Yeah, downtown, the actual town. And if they say uptown, obviously they're talking about going up to, it's maybe as far as north as like the Bronx or like, Harlem or something like that. So as long as you kind of change your frame of thought on that, I think that's kind of easy to kind of navigate. Yeah.
Wow.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
This was really enlightening. And I started this conversation feeling a little anti New York Marathon, but then you've changed my frame of mind of like, it's an experience, just do it. And I feel like I'm the type of person that like, I don't really shy away from the craziness of crowds. You know, sometimes I just feel like, yeah, it's part of the experience. So whenever I'm able to do New York, I wouldn't be surprised if I ended it feeling like, oh my God, but then also might want to do this again. So
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I think we know both of you guys pretty well, and I think you guys would love it. You guys would have some opinions on it out the gate, but you know what I mean? Like, I would never tell somebody like not to do it. You know,
I just don't understand how people would PR from everything that you're saying.
I said, while I was running, I said the same thing. I was like, I don't understand like how people actually get at it on this course, how they PR.
I feel like a lot of them were from New York, so they have that advantage.
That's true.
Just say it back, but whatever.
Whatever.
That's a very good point.
But yeah, I feel like I go through moments where I'm like, I would never do that again. But again, right now I'm feeling like, I have unfinished business, and it was a great experience. It was a hard one, but I learned a lot about myself during that run, just like how much I can push myself too. So that was great.
I think my biggest takeaway is train for an ultra.
Yep.
Train
for an ultra. This is not a marathon. This is an ultra marathon.
I love it.
Yeah.
Train.
So that's exactly what I'm about to ask you right now. Like just both of y'all, each of y'all, top 3 tips for New York. Like just bring in your thing and just give us 3 tips for New York.
So let's see. I guess tips. Top 3 tips when you're training for sure. Make sure you get those heels in. Crystal said this. Make sure if you're in the Chicago area, make sure you're going to Morton Grove. Make sure you're going to Waterfall Glen. Make sure you're getting some type of heel work in. Even if you're like just doing one of the things that Wardell said that he feels like helped him is that he did the Stairmaster, like at the gym. Just make sure that you're working on your leg strength because you're going to have to power through all of this, these hills that they have out there. It's a lot of, and the hills out there and the bridges and stuff like that. So I think that's going to help out a lot. 2, practice, like, again, Crystal pointed out this, like practice waking up early and kind of simulating a situation where you're going to be running at a certain time, but you got up early and you're kind of on your feet just so you can know how that experience is and you can kind of plan accordingly with your nutrition. And then the third tip for New York, stay close to the start line. I mean, the finish line. I think that's probably the biggest thing because trying to get like back to Brooklyn or Harlem or Bronx or anywhere else that you're ordering, I think some people may have been staying in New Jersey, just because it's just on the outside. I just feel like that's just going to be just a word of regret after that and a headache.
Yeah. And like book early so you can save money because New York is, is like cha-ching, cha-ching, each of everything. So try to book as early as you can. What was another one I was going to say? Yeah, bring extras of gels, nutrition, all that. You never know what's going to happen.
Yes.
I would say that, especially because like here, I didn't even know where I could go buy extra gel or anything like that if I had to. And also my biggest one is like, don't feel like you have to do the most. There's a lot going on. Protect your mental, protect your physical. You can do that afterwards if you want. Because I had to talk to myself, like, I'm getting FOMO because I'm seeing people like out and I'm like, well, I just can't do that. But just protect your mental, and because you do have a race to run. So.
Right.
That part.
I love that. Good. Thank y'all. I appreciate both of y'all. I love to have y'all. We love having you all again.
Thank you. This was fun. This was fun. But yeah, if y'all Mike mentioned, if you want to tap in and talk about anything about New York, I'm always down to chat.
Yeah, for sure.
Share y'all IGs real quick.
Mine is crystal.rosales.
That's CRYSTAL.
Yeah, the regular Crystal.
No K.
No K.
You guys can check me out at Mike, MIKE, the letter B _, running.
Because Mike be running.
Mike be running.
Running, RUNNIN.
Let's see that pretty medal before y'all get off. I want to see the medal real quick.
It is really pretty.
Hold them up.
Ooh.
Yeah,
and it's like a bronze.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
It's a dope one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I guess we'll see you soon because you keep it real and we like your perspective. So I know, and this is the last thing. Mike, you're about to train for LA. Crystal, what are you about to do?
I am doing the Lululemon 10K in Houston this weekend, just to like have fun. I've never been to Houston, and I'm excited to.
Wow.
I heard that like running something is pretty wild over there, so I'm excited to check it out. Then after that, I'm taking a break. I am not training until fall marathon, whatever that is. So yeah,
okay.
I need a break from training.
Yeah. All right.
I'm still running, but not training.
Yeah. That's right. That's
good. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's do it.
That was really great. I loved hearing these. Yes. 100% yes. I hope y'all because there was a lot of information. Go back, play this once, maybe play it twice. But if you putting in for New York, if you entered the lottery, because it should be open. I think they opened the day or a week or so after the race and stuff like that. Keep these things in mind. If you get in, you need to be prepared. You need to be ready for the hills. Be ready for the extra nutrition. Be ready for the time on your feet. It's crazy. It's ugly. Get in the gym. Strengthen your body. It's going to be beautiful. Shouts out to Mike Crystal for giving us all of the insider New York from a Chicago perspective. Yeah. And I'll say this, hearing Mike and Wardell running with each other and also seeing them on social media, there's something that warms my heart when I see Black men get excited about a sport and our friends and are together. And it's we're buddies, we're happy and we're singing and we're running. You know what I mean? That's what I think about. Cause that shit
I love it
warms my heart.
Word to Aaron, we could have ran that last 6 miles together.
Talking about this could be us, but you playing.
Yeah, that could have been us, but you was playing. So I was like, nope. I'm gone. Nope.
Yeah, you guys are too competitive.
Yeah, too much. But I love it. I was happy. I'm happy to see the video. I didn't even know Wardell was running because in the video, in the pictures, that nigga was having a good old time. I thought he was in the cheer section.
Right, exactly. But, I would say Wardell is another one of those runners who will not necessarily tell you that he's running a race or even training for a race sometimes, and he'll just pop up at the start line.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 2000%. I love Wardell's energy, man.
Yeah.
But listen, I appreciate y'all for spending another week with us. We'll see you again. Next week. We're gonna keep pumping. We got a beautiful guest for the next episode. It's awesome. Keeping it pumping. You already know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, replay, do all of the things. And we'll see y'all again.
All right. Peace.